What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And special guests for the entire week. So we have Michael Ware. How are you doing?
Greetings and salutations.
There it is. So you've been on all week. So Monday and Tuesday were our topics. Wednesday, we had a really good discussion. It actually went pretty long to deal with pollution and justice, as well as
environmental justice.
Thank you. I'm sorry. As well as bringing broadband into rural areas. So if you're listening to it on the audio or watching the video, it's going to be a full episode. If you're watching on LinkedIn, it's going to be 3 probably parts as I break it down. And then you were also a repeat guest. So we had you on for an interview back May 4th, 2020. So if anybody wants to go back and listen to that episode, it's more of an interview style as opposed to where we have you on as a co-host for the entire week. So I was glad to have you back. I greatly appreciate it. I definitely wanted to get you on this episode. So usually when we get feedback in the comments, it's usually there may be a little bit about one of the topic episodes, but if we are going to get feedback or comments, it's going to be this episode, the rundown, where we just talk about nonsense. So I definitely wanted to get you on for this one. But with that being said, so usually we get into it like, how was everybody's week? And then we go from there. So how was your week, Shannon?
It was somewhat quiet. Didn't do too much. Watched a couple things on TV. The wife and I, we had a little bit more time to sit down. So some shows that we were watching, we kind of wrapped up. So, well, at least the first season, I think. But there's one called Will Trent, about this guy that works for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, I think is what it is, GBI. Yeah. And he's dyslexic, but he's very good at determining like crime scenes and stuff like that. So wrapped up a season of that. We watched Ghosts. We caught up on a couple episodes of that. It's kind of funny. It was funnier in the first season. Second season's kind of down a little bit, but that was pretty good. I watched this documentary on Max. It's no longer HBO Max. It's Max now. It's about
my kids keep correcting me every time I say it.
It
just changed.
Max?
It just changed.
It was like a week ago. I'm partying now, but yeah, it was about the Hillsong Church. And so it was about their rise, their fall, that has happened. It was interesting. There were some things like, if you pay attention in the news and whatnot, like a few of those articles they came out with Hillsong are more like the celebrity stuff, which I don't pay too much attention to, right? Like I may see a headline and be like, oh, it's whatever, right? But
like the gospel band?
So that's the thing, right? So they were a church, but they also did music. So you'll hear Hillsong music, right?
Yeah.
That came from
them.
The church. Yeah.
Is
it the same thing? Is it the same thing?
Is it the same thing? It's like contemporary Christian music.
Yes.
Right?
That is Hillsong Church.
Oh, I gotta watch the documentary now. What am I listening to? Is
it? But yeah, it's kind of their downfall, right? Like where they started, what all came about, like how they so like they had like this guy that was considered like a celebrity preacher, Carl Lentz was his name. And he was out there with like all types of celebrities, Justin Bieber and Vanessa Hudgens, I think was who it was, like Tyson Chandler, like athletes and stuff like that. And he kind of made Christianity cool, you know what I mean? Because these celebrities, they're in on it. Kevin Durant was in a picture with him one time, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's their rise and fall. It's an interesting thing. Like I had seen and read a few articles about it as things were going on, but as I watched this documentary, I'm like, ooh, I did not know that. Nope, I didn't know that. Nope, I didn't know that. So it's interesting. But yeah, Hillsong, man. Look, I'll tell you this. There was nothing on there, like the musicians are doing this, that, and the third.
Oh no, okay.
But like,
let's say I've been to a concert.
I don't want you. Well, I don't. That's the thing. I don't want you to watch the documentary and then be like, oh, I can't listen to Hillsong. Like,
oh, that's crazy.
I don't want you
I'm gonna check it out though. I'm gonna check it out because I went to what was it? It was Hillsong and like Casting Crowns had a concert. Like literally, I landed from Morocco. My wife had tickets. I landed from Morocco from the airport, went home, showered, went to the concert. Could not make it through the whole thing. It was great. Don't get me wrong. I was so tired.
but the documentary focuses more on the church, right?
Okay.
Hillsong does do the music aspect of it as well. But that was interesting. Like I said, I learned a few things, but like I get in these documentary modes where I'll just like watch documentaries and whatnot and be like, oh, I feel like seeing what's going on with this, that, and the third. And then I went to see Guardians about a week ago. Man, that was a good movie. The third one was a good movie. They say it's the end of the Guardians, but I'm not playing spoiler or anything, but like they could keep going. You know what I mean? Like with what they have going on with this, but it was a really good movie. This was the last one for James Gunn because he moved over to DC, right? He's co-head with DC Studios, I think is what it is. So this will be the last one he does, maybe, right? We'll see how that all pans out. But no, they left it open to do more. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I liked it. It was boys' day out, you know what I mean? It's me and my two boys, you know what I mean? My youngest daughter and my wife were at home, probably throwing a party. I don't know. The boys,
Yeah, absolutely. No, they were like, it's good to be quiet.
Yeah.
It's quiet in here.
Because my younger two are always fighting now. Like I don't know what's going on with them. They're 5 and 10, and they don't get along. But yeah, that was a good movie. So I would suggest to anybody who's a Marvel fan, if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and make your way out there. So, but Mike, what you been doing, man? What's been going on with you?
A lot. So I'm in a science fiction book club. So I would start with books. So I read 2 books. One was Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Yeah. So have you seen the movie Congo with the killer gorillas?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is basically the same kind of plot, right? They're like, hey, we think mermaids exist. So they build this, very talented team of scientists and mermaid experts, and they get great equipment, and they go out and then people die. Chaos ensues. And it was great. I enjoyed the book. It was more sci-fi horror than anything else, but it kind of followed that plot line. I do the audiobooks and I'm listening to it and I'm like, this could definitely be made into a movie. It's not gonna be a summer blockbuster, but it definitely could be a one. So that was good.
Yeah, you
Mermaids.
piqued my interest. You hit all the boxes. You said sci-fi and horror.
Yeah.
Can't get better than that.
Yeah. Yes, it was really good. Then the one I just finished up yesterday was Project Hail Mary. This is by Andy Weir. He wrote the Martian with they made a movie with Matt Damon. So if you like that, you'll love this book. This one I call it, like I craved it. Like I was like, oh, I get to get into this book. Okay. So it was Earth's gonna die. They send an astronaut into space to save it. Crazy stuff happens. But like the Martian, it was very science-based and using science to solve problems. And I really enjoyed that process. And I don't want to give a spoiler away, but there was a significant event in the book. And when that happened, I was hooked. I was like, wow, I didn't want to stop getting into this process that he was going through. So I really enjoyed that. Sometimes our book clubs are misses. So these last 2 were pretty good.
Is it primarily science fiction, or is it like span all the genres?
Project Hail Mary or
my book club? Book club.
We do sci-fi 1 month, fantasy the next month.
Okay. Gotcha.
Then we got this ridiculously complex algorithm where we're doing 2 sci-fi and 2 fantasy because we're going to come back in person, but not all. So we're going to do a remote sci-fi, in-person sci-fi, remote fantasy, in-person fantasy. So okay. No matter what you do, you still get the alternating books. We do it on Meetup. I just make sure that I mark my calendar correctly.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm in the audiobooks as well. Because I used to have a really, really long commute pre-pandemic, actually. Wow, it's been a long time. But that's where I would get all my books and my podcasts. And then when I travel, I listen to it. But now that I remote work, I don't read. I don't listen.
It is. When COVID hit, I did notice that my reading dropped dramatically as far as the audiobooks, and then and my podcast, I still listen to them in the background, but like I wasn't getting things from them. So like the podcast I really wanted to pay attention to, I would save and I would just put the what like so I started doing this Security Now podcast. It's like 2.5 hours a week. So that was really great background.
Right. Got you.
So but I do say I read the books even though I'm doing audiobooks
Yeah, I don't
because
know how
I'm
to
like,
feel about that because yeah, I'm the same way. Like for me personally, trying to read in the bed puts me to sleep instantly. Even if I'm really engrossed in the book, it's I think it's the motion. It's the eyes tracking back and forth lulls me to like the book will hit me in the head. So I started listening to audiobooks and I don't fall asleep when I listen to audiobook, but I primarily did that in commute. So I haven't tried doing it in the bed yet, but I feel like I'm getting dumber by the minute. I've not listened to or read a book in 6 months. That's the last time I was in a situation where I was traveling somewhere. That was me flying back to the States. I was listening to Will Smith's book Before the Slap, right?
pretty slap.
Yeah, Before the Slap. But that was the last book I'd listened to or read, right? Because yeah, I don't know, like because I feel like I still read it, even though I listened to it, right? I still
Well, just
consumed the book.
ask a blind person if an audiobook counts as reading.
There you go.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
I went so for movies I seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania. Glad I did not go to the theater for that. It was
Oh man,
I
I'm
was
the
gonna
same
ask
boat.
you. I was gonna ask you. So I haven't watched it yet, Mike. So like it's on Disney Plus now. I have Disney
You
Plus.
have to. You have
But
to
I
watch
am
it.
but I'm not, it's not really drawing me to it. And like you're just cementing what I'm hearing from other people. Like,
It's
that's not that
it's
they say it's
it's
beautiful. Go ahead.
you have to watch it because of the future. You have
I'm
to
a
watch it,
I'm
oh yeah,
eventually going.
but
well
you don't
that's
have to rush. That's the beauty
I
of it.
I agree with that, but I mean it's better than Thor: Dark World 2,
There it
Thor 2 Dark
is.
World, but and it was pretty to watch for sure.
Visually stunning.
But I
Like
tell you what, the only character that I really like brought me in was Kang, and you have to wait way deep into the movie before he shows up.
I don't know what
Really?
happened there. Like it feels as though either something is cut or they're just trying to build suspense so hard. He's literally not there for 45 minutes ish.
Is it that? Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, like you see him, like I'm not spoiling anything. You see him and then you don't see him again until like 45 minutes in. And but they keep building, they keep talking about him, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
it's just I don't know what it is. Like usually when they do that, like you get a good payoff. And he does a phenomenal job. But everything before him, it was just meh, just pretty meh.
I
Visually stunning, but meh.
I was like, yeah, they could kill any one of these characters, maybe the daughter, but
That
everybody
might
else,
have,
I'm
yeah.
like, I wouldn't even care. And then I would be like, I really hope they don't kill one of these other people because then it's gonna be like a 5 to 10 minute drama scene on how much they love each other, and I'm like, I don't have to deal with that.
You don't want to deal with that either.
No.
You are a man after my own heart. Yeah, I like everybody's telling me the same thing. They're like, it is beautiful to see.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
super
but,
pretty.
like, the story is just you could go. They didn't say you could go without it, but they were like you could go with waiting on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see it on Disney Plus, and I'm just like, nah, let me see what else is on.
I really like Paul Rudd. I really like him. Like I think he's very funny, dry, witty humor. He wasn't funny in this. Like
Yeah.
it's like they were trying to be serious, and then he
Yes,
still paid off.
I agree. I was like, I like Ant-Man #1
Yeah,
because it wasn't taking itself very seriously, and I was like, I enjoy this. But this movie, I very much, man. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater. I'm glad Shannon liked Guardians because I heard that was good. Can't wait for Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
oh man, I saw that
But
last night.
I'll say it dropped this weekend, so
Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It was very man, I hate that was King's introduction. Like we don't know what the future is of King and all that stuff right now anyway,
I
because
know
of
the actor,
real life,
and
right? But
he messed up.
oh man, it it couldn't happen at a worse time, right? But like I think the most interesting part of the movie was actually the post credit scene. I was
Yes.
like, yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, I had to wait like what is it, a 2 hour movie for I think the post credit scene was like maybe 45 seconds to a minute, so it was a lengthy post credit scene.
But it was good.
But you had to
I,
wait all that time. Like you should have did that. That should have been the movie.
and that was scary and ominous. Like I was
Yeah,
like, ooh,
yeah.
this.
Like I
So,
can see like Loki season 2 is going to be really good once that finally comes. I think that's going to be this year. I think it's Secret Wars this month, which I'm super pumped for. And then Loki season 2 will be the fall show. And then, if everything pans out with Kang, then that won't be until next year, right? When's the Marvels come out, but I don't think they're going to deal with Kang, right? Like maybe, I doubt it.
Well, again, what are they going to do, right? Like, so the
And so I
actor,
think a lot of that's going to be highlighted in Secret Wars, because I don't even know what the premise of the movie is. Like I've seen the trailer, I don't even know what's going to happen. Like what's the big bad? What are they
for
doing?
the Marvels.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. I don't know either. I imagine it has to do like the Kree and the scroll and all that
yeah.
stuff.
So it has to be Secret War. Has to be like I think they're waiting for Secret War to drop before they expound, because like all you've seen is just the three. Excuse me. You've seen the three leads interact with each other. Who are they fighting? So, but
All
no,
right.
I completely agree with you. I'm surprised you haven't seen Guardians yet. I guess you just haven't had the time.
No, so I do a lot of my volume of media is it takes a lot for me to keep my weight down. And so I do a lot of treadmill and elliptical, and that's where I do my TV watching.
That's smart.
Um we did go out to the theater to see the D&D movie, and I with one of my sons. So that was like a thing. Like I can get him to go someplace with me.
Right.
But we weren't gonna do the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantum Mania. I wasn't gonna like, take that special time and for that movie. I'm like, no, I heard enough about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna. So, but the D&D movie, that hit everything for me. That was great.
I
I
got you.
enjoyed that.
surprisingly good. I got to be honest with you. Like I
I gotta
saw it.
check it out. I
was
should
like,
probably watch it tonight.
yeah,
It's on Paramount, I think.
yeah, it's
Um,
streaming somewhere. I watched it at
Yeah, I
home.
think it's Paramount.
yeah,
I got a million apps, so it's on one of
it
them.
absolutely it was. I thought the action scenes were really good. I thought it was funny. I it hit me as a D&D player, but I was when I was watching it, like if you're not a D&D player, it doesn't matter to you at all. Because you're not, it doesn't, you're like, whatever that, but I thought it was very good. And yeah, I can't say enough about it.
Okay.
I'm not doing a good job of saying good things about it, but
No, that's
it's
good
great.
because I heard it. I heard it's visually pretty impressive, but
Yeah.
actually funny, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that as long as they lead into funny, because I'm D&D adjacent, right? Like I've never played myself. However, everybody I've worked with is probably either played it or knows of it, right? Like tech school way back in 2003, they used to go to the fishbowl to play Magic the Gathering, right? Like that was a thing. Like I come from very nerdy culture, so so I get it, right? I just have not. I don't have that experience, so I'm glad that they're leaning into the funny, so that way I can enjoy it because I won't get necessarily the inside jokes per se.
So I'm not a D&D player. My oldest son is. He's 20, but he plays it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like
Okay.
I would watch it again, and I have not played D&D.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not big into fantasy either, like pure fantasy. But if you make it hilarious, then I'm all for it.
I think you'll like it, Ryan. It was, I mean, action, funny.
Okay.
Yeah, the I was very surprised at how well the action scenes were done. I I was like, this is super exciting. I was really into it, like in like not the edge of my seat, but I definitely was sitting up in the theater.
Okay.
I was like, this is but again, a little bit biased, but because I was like, oh, I know that spell. I know why that happened. But
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's some for everybody. Like, yeah, if as long as I can still have a good time, I don't think it's gonna push me to playing. Like the game's just too complex, and we'll get to that as well. Like Diablo 4 just came out. I'm not playing that. It's not gonna happen. It's too intense. It's too complicated for me.
so so I started picking up Diablo 3 again. And I had a problem with this. This is Shannon, you had mentioned about this. Like you learn some things, but you can still listen to Hillsong, right? So so Blizzard, I mean, they got in some controversy. They had a Cosby room in the developers area, right?
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, so I stopped playing Diablo 3. I know I already paid for it way back when, but I went like on a good 2 year, maybe year and a half, where I did not play the game. So like I wasn't generating numbers on their server and stuff like that. But then when they like, oh, we're gonna get bought by Microsoft, it looks like the deal was going to go through, and I was like, okay, I can play it again.
There you go.
Now that deal's going to go, but so I played the server slam 2 weeks ago with that Diablo 4, and I don't trust myself to get Diablo 4 because
'Cause you'll be lost in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. I can see
yeah.
that. Like my oldest bought the I think it's the deluxe, so you can play it a couple of days earlier, and then you get some other stuff as well. Typically, if I'm going to play a game, I don't let him buy it, or I'll definitely put in the majority of it or whatever. Even if I'm not going to really play it a lot, but I know I'm not going to play it. Like I played the demo, and he had to finish my character for me. It was just too.
Oh,
It's just it's too in depth. Like the skill trees. Like my character was garbage. Like he took it over for 30 minutes, and he greatly improved the stats and the I forget what it's called, but like damage per click or whatever, DPQ or whatever, DPS. There it is. Like he made the character like badass, and I was like, it's yours. And then when he was like,
well,
hey, you're gonna buy Diablo 4, I was like, absolutely not. Like you're gonna have to. I still gave him something. Like I still paid like half of it or whatever, because it's like $90 for the deluxe edition.
oh,
Yeah, yeah, because games are 70 already, right? But if you want anything above that, you got to pay X amount more. So I offset the cost for them, but I'm never gonna play it.
yeah. Well, you don't know your character's crap unless you're multiplayer.
It's true, but I don't know. I wasn't enjoying it, and he kept like he was critiquing it. He was like, hey, if you do this, if you do that, he was like, open up your skill tree. He was like, yeah, you need to put points in this. But I was just like, I had him in the controller. I was like, fix him, and he did, and I just watched him play. I was like, just finish it off.
So we had yeah, the $70 game entry. We got Tears of the Kingdom for my youngest son,
There you
who
go.
is really big into the first game, and I was working yesterday. I had some stuff, so I worked yard work, and then I worked at home, and it was 7:30, and I'm like, okay, I got an hour to myself. I'm gonna play Diablo. I want to do another Rift, and there's a couple things I wanted to do. My son comes down, and he talked to me for 30 minutes about Tears of the Kingdom,
There it is. Yeah.
just just nonstop. Now I don't want to ever take time away because like he's almost 16, and so anytime that he's going to talk to me like that, I'm like, yep, I'm going to listen and pay attention. 30 minutes. He's like, then I put an eye on an arrow and shoot the dragon. And there's this king
Yeah.
dragon, and it shoots lightning and ice and this other thing that does a laser beam. And he's like, I can't see it. And he went through all the mechanics and all that stuff. And I was like, so did you beat it? He's like, yeah, I beat it twice, but it's hard.
Yeah, and so it's a water cooler game. Like no one has the same experience because you can do it in any order. I legitimately have put in, I think it's 45 hours now since it came out. And when I talk to people about it, like night and day experience from like legitimately. My wife was watching me play, and she was like, not bored, but she was like, what is the point of this game? Like, I've not seen you do any story stuff. Like, what is the story? And I kind of explained it to her. She was like, I haven't seen you do any of that. I was like, yeah, I've just been literally roaming for 45 hours. And I was like, you are correct. I will go do something. And I went to my first, like, I think there's 4 temples. So they're like dungeons. I went to my first dungeon 45 hours in. That's how expansive the game is. Anytime you're like, I'm going to go do this, and you see something shiny, and you're like, I'm going to go do that. You're like, squirrel. I finally, and it was worth it. Like it was like masterfully crafted experience. I was like, I should probably do more of these. But like you literally just do your own choose your own adventure. You just go off. But the mechanics, um, even though the physics are pretty detailed, the mechanics are super simple. So I'm not having to pull up a big skill tree and then like put points here and there. You learn by doing, and then when you beat dungeons and stuff like that, you get new skills and items and things of that nature. So they make it super simple. Diablo for me is the exact opposite. Yeah, Shannon, like God of War even had me tripped up, and those skill trees are not that bad. I was just like, I'm not doing it. I just
Yeah,
want to hit things with blades. That's it.
I think so. Like I was playing Witcher 3, and I didn't felt that was overly complicated. But when I went back to Diablo 3, I remembered like, oh wow, yeah, I got to pay attention to all these things.
Yeah.
It was vast and more complicated.
Yeah, but it's a good game. Like, I'm gonna watch him play. It's gonna be one of those situations where I live vicariously through him in this one, because I cannot do it. Like, it's too much.
Yeah. So I started playing Sea of Thieves,
Okay.
which is
How's that?
it's hard, and I'm definitely old, and everybody took advantage of me. So but my youngest son is playing it, and I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity I can play. And but I was like, I need to learn this because I don't want to like go do a mission with him and me be like the anchor, like literally, like, come on, Dad. So I'm tooling around, I'm trying to figure some stuff out, and then I was like on this island, and some other pirate killed me, and you spawned on your boat. Well, he took my boat, he waited for me to spawn, then killed me as soon as I spawned. So I respawned, he had set my boat on fire and jumped off the boat. If you jump off the boat, you'll eventually run into a mermaid in the sea, and it teleports you back to your boat, the one that you actually own.
Mhm.
So I'm on this boat, and I go through this crazy series of things where I'm actually trying to save my boat, because you can save your boat. You can patch holes, you can bail water, you can put out fire, right? So it had holes in it and it was on fire. And I've got about 3 hours into the game. So all these things I'm trying to figure out, and I almost saved my boat, and then I catch on fire, and I'm like, I don't know how to put myself out. So I jump into the water, but I didn't put the anchor on. So I'm in the water and the boat's just sailing away from me. So I got to swim and find a mermaid. And anyway, that was, but well, I'm learning. So that was my experience with Sea of Thieves.
You're limiting snickets. That is a series of unfortunate events right there. Like, there's no way. Like, golly. And that dude, that person knew what they were doing. Like, okay,
oh yeah,
spawn over here. Let me set your boat on fire. So you have problems here. I'll put some holes in the boat. You have problems here. Like,
I don't get how people enjoy that. Like I haven't PvP'd in a very long time. Like, I don't like interacting with people I don't know anymore. Like, it's just not fun for reasons like that, right? I like short single player experiences. That's what I've evolved into, right? Like, the rest of the gaming world is going for massive multiplayer. Like, that is the hook. These games of a service are like taking off. I just want you to give me a 12 to 20 hour game. That's it. Just give me that. Let me just get in. Let me do my thing. I realize that the tail on those aren't long enough for them to make the money back that they're looking for, those massive profits. But I'm not gonna play your Destinies. Like, I played the beta. I was like, this is great. I'm just saying, I don't have it in me to do raids and meet with people and all that stuff. I'm just becoming very, I guess, gaming antisocial. Like, I just want just a small experience. Just give me that. Give me a God of War. Give me a Mass Effect. In this case, Zelda is very big, but no one is in there with me. It's just me by myself for 100 hours, right? So
I liked Witcher because it was just me, and I don't do the party gaming on Diablo 3 anymore. Like, I just do solo because
gotcha.
I'm the same way. I like
I don't mind if it's there. I just don't. I don't want to have to click the button, right? Like, it can be a feature in the game. Like you said, you have the party system. You can do these world raids with other people, but I don't want to. I just want to play by myself. Unless it's a game where I can invite, like Halo back in the day, we can invite your friends and team up and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just not doing it for me. But Zelda the game is amazing. I can't say enough about it. I think I talked to the death last week. Shannon should jump on it, but I don't think that's his thing. So you can watch it. You can live vicariously through your son. Watch him play it.
So both of my sons have played it. So like my older son, I don't know if I told you or not. There was a couple nights he like stayed up all night playing it. Like I woke up, like I go to the gym like really early in the morning. So I'm up at like 3:30. By the time I leave the bedroom, it's like 4 o'clock after I've got everything together and whatnot. And he was in the loft on the game, and he was there when I went to bed. I was like, "Did you wake up early or did you stay up all night?" He's like, "No, I stayed up all night." And it's Tears of the Kingdom is what like. I'm like, "Oh man," I was like, which is good, right? Like, I mean, it's a good game, right? He's getting his money's worth because he bought it.
Because especially on the Switch, you could literally just hit the power button, right?
Yeah.
You can just put it to sleep and it'll stay where you're at. But that's the problem, is getting to like, I just want to see more. Like you'll get to that mountain and you be like, but there's something over there. I see it. I want to interact with it. So yeah, I'm having a blast. So we did. So I think I talked about Little Mermaid last week. So I saw Little Mermaid with my two oldest. It was amazing. I did not expect for it to be as good as it was, because I'm not a big Little Mermaid fan to begin with. Like I love classic Disney, I guess you could say. Like Little Mermaid, I considered classic. Came out in the 80s. I think it was like 89 or whatever. But it was just okay. Like it was a thing. It happened. I didn't go back and watch it a million times. So when the movies come out, I was like, well, I definitely want to support. My daughter was like, "You are going to take me." She was like, she drew a line and said, "You're going to take me to see Little Mermaid, and you're going to take me to see Barbie." And I was like, I want to see either one, especially not Barbie. But she put her foot down. I was like, all right, it's a done deal. So we saw Little Mermaid. It was great. But this week was my week. I'm taking all y'all to see Spider-Man. First off, I need to get, like you said, Shannon, a movie pass or something like that. They have to have something. I legitimately, for me and 3 kids, I think it was like $60, maybe $60-70 for the tickets. Great movie theater, like spacious, reclining seats, all that good stuff. So good experience. It was another $74 in concessions. Like even my son, like when everything was right up, he was like, "Ooh." Like you're not even paying for it. I can't keep doing this. Like, because I want to see Flash. I want to see I have to go. I don't want to see, but I have to go see Barbie. And then there's other movies, right? Like the world is open back up. Movies are coming out. I cannot keep spending $140 to go see the movies.
You have to sneak that candy in.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. But that was brought to my attention. Like, why
I don't know. Is that stealing now? I can't remember.
I don't know
if it's actually illegal or not.
Like, do they have signs that say no food? I don't remember.
I think they do have some that say no outside food or beverage. At least in the ones over here in Colorado. Like
but even the popcorn, like I think a bag of popcorn costs like what, $1.50, and I'm probably spending like $10 in popcorn. I don't know. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like same thing with I say pop because I'm from Buffalo, but same thing with that. Like a large was like, I was like $6-7. I know this syrup in this container. The seltzer water costs you $1 or less.
Yeah.
In most cases, the container they put the soda in is more expensive than the soda itself.
I bet. I can believe that.
Like the cup and the can is more expensive.
So concessions is where they're making their money. They're not making money on ticket sales, right?
I get it. I paid who'd I pay? I paid Sony their pound of flesh, and then I paid it's called B&B Theaters is the chain I go to, because we have AMC, but AMC doesn't have the seat warmers and stuff like that. They're building another one, so maybe that one. But if I get a pass, it'll be the B&B is the chain that has all of the like Cinebistro or Paragon type features. But yeah, like I walked out of there, I was like, that was a lot of money. But the movie was amazing. So if you have not seen the Spider-Man, the first one, what was it? Into the Multiverse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. If you have not seen the first one, this one blows it out of the water. Like that one was good.
That is a heavy statement.
Non-stop. Like there was a point, because it's like a 2-hour movie, where I couldn't find, like there's a lull in every movie where you're like, okay, I can go to the bathroom now. It just kept going. It was like from fight to fight to fight to it was like it's overload. And the animation is beautiful. It's some of the best animation I've ever seen. Just how they're able to like take
Did it-
the visuals from each comic that these spider people came from and integrate them within each other is amazing.
So they were
Like,
mixing the animation, like the
yes.
first one.
Yeah, there's a really cool like it's not spoiling anything. I think they've marketed it, but there's a cool Spider-Man that's like punk rock, and his animation is so different from everybody else's, but he's interacting with them as they're going and they're fighting, and everything is moving so fast. I'm just like, I mentally I need a break because you guys are doing too much. But no, it's a carefully crafted story, beautiful visuals, like stuff I've never seen before. Because I think his cadence was like 4x4, like he's choppy on purpose. And it's the coolest effect ever. I'm just like, that is amazing. And it's one of those situations where after I watch any comic book movie, I go to New Rockstars and I get a breakdown of all the Easter eggs I missed. Like every frame felt like I should know something that's happening here, and like it's so cool. And I was like, I know there's something deeper because they just showed me something I've never seen before. It was like the callbacks are amazing. Like if you're a Spider-Man fan, like it's pure joy.
They're going to get you to spend another $130 to go back to the theater.
Yeah, yeah. I was really considering like, do I need to go back and see this again? I don't know if I can do that though. Like
I gotta tell you, the first one, I thought it was just going to be a throwaway cartoon Spider-Man, and I got out of there going, wow, this challenges, one of the best comic book movies. I mean, this has got to be up there in one of the best. I was completely, blown away by how much I liked it, how the animation, and you're saying this one's better.
yeah, oh, this one, like literally, that one wasn't boring, but this one is nonstop action, like, and on top of like a very, very good story. Not hopefully it's not spoilery because it took my son by surprise. This is a two-parter. I don't know if you guys know that or not. But
I knew.
it has its own story arc, so it comes to a satisfying conclusion. But then at the end, there's a to be continued. It took my son by surprise. I was like, bro, we've been here for like over 2 hours. Like they could not put more in this movie. He was like, what? He was like, I thought it was gonna be one big movie. I was like, it was. Now we have to go home. It's like 9:30. I was like, it's time for me to go home and go to bed. I'm worn out. But yeah, like you will not like I'm always careful when I bring a movie to Shannon. You will not be disappointed. Like for
Well,
anyone who's listening, like this one is crazy good.
I didn't think I'd like the first one either. Like I plan on seeing it, right? But like I'm one of those, the first weekend's gonna be packed, I'll wait it out type things, you know what I mean? The first one surprised me too. Like I was like, man, I don't know about that. Like an animated Spider-Man with Miles, but it was pretty good. And this one, like seeing the trailers, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, and it was very, very good. And if you are a fan of the live action movies, there's stuff in there for you as well. If you're a fan of the games, there's stuff in there as well. Like they I don't know how they can put any more Spider-Man into the Spider-Man product. Like it's crazy.
There's a lot
So
of Spider-Man out there.
man, it was stuff that I was just like, am I a fan? Because I don't remember that at all. Like I was like, I don't remember that being a variant of Spider-Man ever.
So I collected comic books. There's a long story why I stopped, but Spider-Man was one of my titles, and there was like any given time there was 4 titles. There was at this time there was Spider-Man, just regular Spider-Man by McFarlane. He had come up with one. There's Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, all being published and all different stories at the same time. Then you had Spider-Man 2099, and then so there's a lot of material.
Yeah, it felt endless. Like if you've seen the trailer that kind of show like a bunch of them at one time, that's nothing. That's scratching the surface. It's so much stuff. Like literally every frame, you're just like, I know I'm missing stuff. I can't catch everything that's happening right now. So you would definitely enjoy it. Soundtrack also amazing. Like the first soundtrack was really good. Like this one, it's like, oh man, yeah. I don't think they missed a beat. I cannot think of anything where I was just like, man, at all. Like they definitely did an incredible job. So I'm very excited for the next one, but I didn't Google it to see when the next part comes out. But I would definitely say don't be afraid of not seeing it because it's half a movie, because it's not half a movie. It's an entire movie. It's just like I don't know where you're going from here, but it's going to be amazing. Aside from that, I didn't have any other media. I think that was Cabin in the Woods, or Knock on the Cabin in the Woods, or Knock on the Cabin. What is it called?
I don't know what it's called. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, the M. Night
Batista is
Shyamalan
he,
movie with Batista.
right? Batista's like, come on, you need to kill
Yeah.
yourself, right?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. It's on I want to say Peacock for free, or you pay for Peacock, but it's streaming on Peacock. I watched it with my wife. We liked it. Like I would not recommend Shannon. We liked it.
The trailers didn't do it for me. M. Night is more miss than hit for me anyway.
Yeah.
And I read the
it's definitely not Sixth Sense or Signs.
Yeah, no, I read the plot to it, knowing I wasn't going to see it, and I was like, yeah, I definitely don't need to see that. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
I would say on his scale, so you have Sixth Sense, you have Signs. I would say Signs is better than Sixth Sense, but they're evenly matched. Those are his master class. And then you have Lady in the Water in the Village on the opposite spectrum. This one is somewhere in the middle. So take it for what it is.
Reading the plot, it sounded closer like it was down to Lady in the Water for me.
That is definitely not a good movie. Like,
Yeah.
so that's his Thor Dark World. His scale, because Split was actually pretty good.
And I watched that because I like Paul Giamatti. You know what I mean? Like, I like Paul Giamatti. So that's why I watched Lady in the Water. But I was just like, what are you doing here? One guy with one big arm. And I'm like, yo.
That's the only part I like.
Really?
Because it's so funny, because like you're just like, why is he doing that? And
it's
then,
the only part I really remember. I
to
remember they're always
I
hanging out
did this
with
for
the
that.
pool and the dude with the one big arm.
Yeah. Like,
because it doesn't make logical sense, because like literally, why don't you just do that with both arms? Why? It's just one so diesel. Oh man, that guy, he takes risks. I give him that. He does.
So he was producer. He didn't direct it, but he was producer on another one I liked. I think he was a producer. Devil. Was it Devil?
Oh, the elevator one?
Yeah, that one I liked. I was like, okay, I don't mind.
Was that M. Night Shyamalan?
So he didn't direct it. I think he was like a producer for it or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. That was because it's shot all in. That was a weird time when they were doing like phone booth. They were doing elevator or whatever it's called. I think you want to call it Diablo. It was called Diablo though. I think it was just called Devil. I think you're right.
I think it's Devil, yeah, but a lot of it takes place in an elevator, though. Yes.
Yeah, Saw. Like they're just doing movies that were just like in a location. And I thought that was one of the better ones, because it's only in the elevator, but they do a really good job of ratcheting up the tension. So
I want to drop two quick things. One was I spent most of my time this year watching or this last month watching Demon Slayer. Anime. I don't know if you're into anime, but as far as the art and the story goes, I mean, it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I would say the kids call it God tier anime. Like that season, because I'm on season 3. I think it's the Electric District.
Entertainment District.
Yeah, Entertainment District. I watched that season. I was like, this is really good. Because the first season was really good. Second season was okay. It wasn't bad. But third season, they took it to another level.
Yeah, I put this review out to I basically was like, if you like anime, this is a good place to start. But then I was like, well, maybe not, because then everything else is not gonna like live up to this.
Right.
It's all downhill from here after that, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, my son been watching it, I think from the beginning, because there's a character that's got a coat that's split and it's got 2 different patterns on each side, and he's got one of those hoodies, and he got it 2 years ago, and I was like, what's that from? and when I finally got around to watching it, holy cow, it was really good though.
what is it streaming on, Mike?
You can get Netflix dubbed, so you don't have to do the And it has 3 seasons. There's another season out, but it's only right now, it's only on Crunchyroll and it's subbed.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah,
just
I watched it on Hulu. I think that's where I watched that.
So Hulu though, I don't have the premium. So I watched like half the first season with commercials.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then I flipped to Netflix because I have Netflix and it doesn't have commercials. So
for now.
Yeah. After the password crackdown, right? What's next?
Which
I had to tiers in Netflix.
I had to pay for that too because my daughter uses our Netflix and she's in her own apartment now. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and pay this $8 so she can still use the Netflix.
Man, you know how much money they're gonna make up? Because everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna dump Netflix. Yeah, that's fine. You weren't paying anyway. So you know what I mean? Like how much money you're gonna in revenue are gonna pull up for the people who are going to pay versus you didn't pay at all.
I'm making up for it because I'm paying like $28, right? Because I streamed the HD, I have 4 concurrent streams, and I'm paying the $8 for the so I'm at like $28 I'm paying. So I'm making up for that.
Yeah, it's rolled up in my phone bill, right? So I don't even think about it. That was also clever of them to do that. Because yeah, God knows what I'm paying. I don't know. What was the second one? So you said Demon Slayer and there was another one.
Yeah, so this one is so my wife and I we did foster care for 2.5 years, and we keep in touch with the kids. And so there's a lot of perspectives that we didn't have that we have now. Black hair, it's a whole thing we had no idea about. Especially Soraya, because she had a lot of it. Anyway, it was just a special moment for all those haters that are complaining about Little Mermaid to see Soraya's face when she saw the preview and say they have a black Little Mermaid. That's something I think most people don't understand. Right? Like, what does that mean to a little girl that's like, so that she can identify with a Disney character? Of course, she loves Disney, but anyway, and I can't take her to it because that we're like, okay, we're gonna let her mom take her to that. We're not gonna.
I see what you're saying.
But I think just all the haters like, so what? It's a fictional character in a fictional world,
right?
So who cares? but it matters at some point. It matters to it mattered to Soraya, and I didn't think much of it until I saw that reaction to the trailer.
Yeah, they're very vocal minority, because I thought the same thing. Like, so when I was telling my wife, I was like, man, we're gonna go to this theater, it's gonna be empty. It was the exact opposite. I think it was more packed than Spider-Man, because we had to wait 30 minutes for our concession. Spider-Man, I walked right in, it was still full, but it was a little bit more streamlined. But for Little Mermaid, man, that line was almost to the door, from the concession stand to the door is how full it was. I was very surprised, because the naysayers even had me thinking, because they're so vocal on social media, they had me thinking that nobody's going to go see this movie. So I was like, I want to support, but B, like I said, my daughter demanded, you will take me to go see this. And I think the live action was better than the cartoon, because usually it's the opposite for Disney. Like their live action is not always that great. It was like, I've already seen this story. Like with Beauty and the Beast, I was like, you didn't have to remake that. You could just left that a cartoon, because it was already perfect. But this one, I think they expounded on characters, right? Like I didn't even think about like Under the Sea, like that world or whatever. And they kind of, because they explain the they make it canonical. They like, I'm trying to walk around, I don't know why, but they're like, why is she black? And like it's explained through environmental storytelling in the movie, right? Like legitimately, like they show her, they show the prince, and then they show the King Triton and the family, and they're all different colors because he's king of the sea, right? So his daughters are all different nationalities. Boom, done. They didn't have to go into long detail, didn't have to really explain much. It's just environmentally, it makes sense. And then we're done with it, and then we just move on. I'm just like, perfect. Good job, Disney. Like, And it was full, like you had like adult women in there singing, which I didn't appreciate. Like I didn't come here for that. But you know, they were raised upon it, right? They were raised on it. It was people of all colors and ages. Like there's some people in there who didn't have kids, right? But they were just fans. Because they were probably kids back in the 80s who saw the cartoons, so now you want to see the live action. So I think they did an excellent job, and I'm glad that I did go see it with my daughter, because it was a really cool experience. I'm glad that Disney took that risk. They found somebody who could sing very well to portray that character, right? Because not only did she have to act like she was swimming all the time, which that's masterclass in acting. It was like that had to be tiring, but she can also sing. So they found a professional singer who could belt out those songs. So I thought it was good. So thank you for bringing it up. Like, because I didn't really go into great detail last week when I talked about it. So no, I appreciate you bringing it full circle. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. So hopefully you get to you didn't go to the theater. You can go back. You spend that $175,000 they charge you to go to the theater and see it again, or you can wait till it comes home. I'm sure it'll be home within the next Disney does like 4 months for the ones that make money.
It's usually like 90 days.
Is it 90? Is that fast?
3 months.
Like 3 months.
It seems like it seems like it's going way faster.
Yeah, so you can definitely experience it then. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth watching. So two very good things. I don't think Shannon's going to watch the anime. I don't think I've gotten you into any anime. Yeah,
I might. So I'll give it a shot, like to see. Yeah, because I was watching. I don't know if it's necessarily anime, but what's the one with the Dracula?
So that's controversial. That
Okay.
I would consider it anime, but it was not made in. I don't think it's a Japanese studio, so I think it's a cartoon.
Okay.
Anime inspired.
Okay.
Which one? Which Dracula one was it?
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Oh, my boys and I quit on that.
Really?
So, wow. Okay. The first 2 seasons, I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Slow down the third, fourth. But I think it jumped up a little bit because it changed. But no, so how far did y'all get into it then?
We got pretty far, but
okay.
But we're just like we don't care anymore. We don't care about these characters.
It's probably the Isaac stuff because they kind of went on it was like it was like a video game. Like they have a main quest and then they just kind of went off on all the side characters, all got like a season to themselves.
Oh, is that yeah?
But yeah, so it's like kind of like, why are we here? Why are we talking about this? But it all comes to a head in the final season. You're like, oh, I get why we spent several episodes on this, not B character, but like, why are we fleshing out his story? Like, why is he important?
I may finish it on my own, but I don't think I can get my boys to
you can't get him back to
What we did watch was the shoot, I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that's based on the D&D sessions. It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it Vox Machina?
Yes, Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah, how do I get that title? But I can't get anything else. I never get titles correct on this podcast. I did not watch second season yet. Is it worth it?
If you like the first season, it's more of the same. It's got some, the adult humor and same kind of action. So we enjoyed it. Again, so they actually play a different version of D&D. I think when they did this, so some of the spells don't line up to what we're normally used to, but that doesn't matter to you. But I enjoyed it. I thought the action was fun. It was also an adult humor, and my youngest one, he's gonna be 16 this month, so it's all right.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah,
I do the same thing. Like with John Wick, he wanted to watch John Wick. I was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it. I was like, you might be a sophomore in high school, man. I was watching worse.
We did the John Wicks this year, so it was about 15 and a half.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Did
so
he enjoy
I'll probably do that because he wants to go through all 3 of them for the 4th one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He did enjoy that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
But no, that's cool. But no, so I'm going to Linus Plane. This is a great time. So it's a pleasure having you on the show. For all those who are listening, definitely go back and listen to, because I know it's starting to even out a little bit more. Like now I have better metrics. Before, this one was like the most popular show, and I'm like, oh, we got material back here. Like this is just nonsense. Like go watch the topics. So if you're tuning in to Friday's episode, please go back and watch Monday, Tuesday's topic. Wednesday was a very good discussion, and then obviously like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff I never say. Share with your nerdy friends. You can hit us up online on the socials. We do get receive comments like Mike hits us up on YouTube sometimes. Especially for this episode, it's where we get most of the comments. But definitely reach out to us. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. And where can they find you at, Mike?
Mike Ware 45 on Twitter and Michael Ware 1 at LinkedIn.
There it is.
This is the way.
Yeah, definitely hit up all the links that'll be in these episodes. So where you can follow Mike on all the social platforms and check out his initiatives and those of the DEQ. I think I said that title correctly.
Yep.
All right. Stay safe, stay secure.